What's going on with Katy Perry? Why is she glitching? Wait for it.
Today we're looking at celebrity conspiracy TikToks that will make you rethink everything. Welcome back, guys. Thank you to all the channel members for support. In today's videos, you know what I'm saying, we've heard a lot of different things about a lot of different celebrities. So today we're going to be taking a look at conspiracy theories about these celebrities. Let's try to get to 2K likes this video, and it says around 60% of you guys are not subscribed, so make sure to smash that subscribe button. Let's go.
Conspiracy claims that in the 1800s, an ancestor of the Kardashians sold her soul to 4 witches. What she would get for this was that every woman in the bloodline would have a successful career with money, fame, and beauty. But in return, there's a catch. The catch is that any man involved in their life would be cursed. So the reason this conspiracy has gone so viral is because look at the pattern in the men that has been involved with the Kardashians. Example 1, Lamar Odom, extremely successful basketball player, struggled with addiction and overdoses. Rob Kardashian went from being a model and an actor to dealing with depression and barely being able to leave his house. Scott Disick, a successful businessman, now battling with alcoholism and depression. Travis Scott, hugely successful rapper, faced one of the most disastrous concerts in history with Astroworld, and many people passed away. Okay, Bruce Jenner transitioned to Caitlyn but was ostracized by her entire community. Then we have Kanye West. Unfortunately, we all know what happened with Kanye West.
Justin Bieber has been seen for the first time since P. Diddy's arrest. Apparently so disturbed by what's come out that he's unwilling to talk about it and he's just focusing on being a dad. This is their full relationship explained. When Justin started off his career, he cited P. Diddy as one of his biggest influences. When he was 15, P. Diddy and Justin bonded after being connected through Justin's mentor, Usher. And P. Diddy used to be Usher's mentor too. When Usher was 14, he was preparing his debut album but lost his voice and his label considered dropping him. Eventually, he was sent off to New York to live with P. Diddy. In 2009, when Justin was 15, he posted this video of him hanging out with P. Diddy for 48 hours on his YouTube. Diddy refused to say what they would be doing for these 48 hours but said it would be every 15-year-old's dream. He then carried on saying that he'd been given custody of Justin because he was signed to Usher. Diddy had legal guardianship of Usher when he was doing his first album. Later they do another video in a recording studio and Diddy asked Justin why they don't hang out as often. The next few years, Justin was seen out partying with Diddy fairly frequently. When they were out partying, Justin would often take his top off and be wearing sunglasses. A bit of digging here, and whatever he's drinking in that bottle is not water. By the looks of it, Diddy had stupidly done some advertising for this aqua. Whatever is in Justin's bottle is definitely not water. And the colour of it is very similar to what Diddy is drinking, plus his friends and Cassie, who was also at the same party. Eventually, he was seen out looking in quite a state with other celebs like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Also, in this photo where he's praying with Kanye and Diddy before going on stage, he's wearing a t-shirt of Tupac. And Diddy has now been accused in court of paying $1 million for Tupac to be murdered. A clip of Khloe Kardashian talking on Keeping Up with the Kardashians has also resurfaced. From 2014, and she talks about partying with Diddy and Justin Bieber plus others. Says, well, at this party, I think half the people there were butt naked. In 2015, after Justin officially turns 21, they release a video of P. Diddy giving him his first ever shot. Clarify many times that it was his first ever shot. A year later, there's also a video of Diddy at Justin's 22nd birthday where Justin also looks very unaware of his surroundings. Then again, a year later, Justin ends up cancelling a lot of his tour dates because of his physical and mental health. He's pictured out a number of times having mental breakdowns and admitted that there were times where he was really suicidal. In the same interview in 2020, he said that he wanted to protect Billie Eilish from the music industry, saying that he didn't want her to go through what he had gone through and he wouldn't wish that on anybody. A year after that interview, a video was released where you can see P. Diddy patting down Justin Bieber. A lot of people seem to think that P. Diddy is asking him whether he's wearing a wire. Justin then shakes his head and then P. Diddy literally pats him down. In September 2023, so just 1 year ago, Justin actually featured on P. Diddy's album and posted this Instagram story about how much he enjoyed it and ended it with "Love you, Diddy." Then this September, P. Diddy has now been arrested and charged. If you're unsure why, I will be posting a video on this next. According to the papers, Justin seriously regrets his collaboration with Diddy and knew nothing about it. And that he had a long break from Diddy where he reckons most of this took place. I'm going to post what I think about it next.
We ain't finna act like we ain't see what Kanye just said. This man really typed out, y'all, look at this. This is what this man typed out, y'all. This crazy, fool. So y'all see how Kanye said he seen magazines, but his mother had different joints. So I'm guessing they were magazines and probably DVDs. I don't know about y'all, but when I was young, I seen magazines and DVDs too. With my brodies, my brothers. But not once did we ever think about acting out on each other. When we seen that, we wanted to act out on a. I ain't never look at my brother and say, hey, let me your wood. Or to my cousin, let me your wood. Diabolical, y'all. So he said his cousin was 6. So how old was you? And what you saying, so you victimized your cousin. So I'm guessing you and your cousin had a hard time because you said your cousin is in jail for life for boop boop, a pregnant lady. And you said it's because you told him that y'all couldn't view magazines anymore, or you couldn't act on the stuff you was doing to him. If y'all want to see a longer video, make sure you tap into the tube. It's finna get dark.
Dude, I wonder what Holy Spirit, what God, what guide influenced Kanye West that day to literally admit to the world, not to his homies, not to the bros, not to his girl, the world, everybody, that he did that. Like
10 celebrities that are banned in other countries. Number 1, Senegalese singer Akon is banned in Sri Lanka because of a music video where he is seen dancing in front of a Buddha statue. Number 2, Mia Khalifa is banned from her home country, Lebanon, because of her prolific acting career. Next, comedian Bovi can't enter the United States because of a visa issuing issue. China banned Justin Bieber because they believed he was a badly behaved entertainer. Justin Bieber is also banned in Argentina for defacing their flag during a performance. And he was once banned from Disney World for touching Mickey inappropriately. Lady Gaga is banned in Indonesia, and Beyonce is banned in Malaysia because her shows were considered too immoral. Her husband Jay-Z is banned in China because his songs contain too much bad language. The Beatles were banned from the Philippines because they declined a breakfast invitation from their first lady. And Selena Gomez is banned in Russia because of her open support for gay rights. Thoughts more?
You think that I could be an Illuminati member?
I think you potentially could be an Illuminati member, Dr. Phil. I don't think that you get this amount of power and influence and media coverage without taking a deal.
With who?
The Illuminati. They would come and say, Dr. Phil, we can offer you all the money, we can offer you power, we can offer you influence. You just need to take a deal with us.
Could I be wearing a mask?
You could. Could I get up and look?
No, how are you gonna look?
I'm just gonna...
Yeah, go ahead. What do you think?
I think that the technology is so advanced.
Let me tell you, sister, if I was wearing a mask, it wouldn't look like this.
Honestly, what she was saying wasn't wrong. Like, when people say Illuminati, they're not just talking about some random underground cult that's just like, we will pay you money. They're talking about really powerful people that will pay other people because they're influenced. And the whole mask situation, like, he might not be wearing a mask, but he could probably have so good cosmetics on his face that he could look like that. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a thing where Michael Jackson dressed up as like a complete different dude, like an old grandpa or something, and the makeup was pretty good. So it's possible. Like, he doesn't have to have a mask on, but I don't know. I don't really think personally that like Dr. Phil was like has a mask on.
The craziest conspiracy theory about the Queen of Christmas, Mariah Carey, is that she lies about her age and no one truly knows how old she is.
Your birthday's next month.
I don't have birthdays. Well, I just have anniversaries.
Well, Wikipedia, IMDb, and a bunch of other outlets say she was born in 1969. Google says she was born in 1970. And because Mariah won't tell us, she doesn't acknowledge time and she won't show us personal records, some outlets just put both years because they don't even know. Evidence for the icon being born in 1969 include her high school administrator publicly saying that her records show she was born in 1969. She graduated high school in 1987, which would make her born in 1969. Since she's a songwriter, her songs get put in the Library of Congress copyright catalog, which logs her age as 1969. And People magazine claimed once that they got a copy of her driver's license and it said 1969. But the New York Times literally did a biography on her and said that she was born in 1970. Her children's birth certificate allegedly citing the mom's age as born in 1970. And her own mother on Oprah said she was born in 1970.
And in 1969, we were in that neighborhood. And in 1970, when she was born, we moved out of.
I'm gonna share what Mariah has to say about this now, but before I do, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and request who you want to see next. For the last 30 plus years, whenever Mariah Carey is asked about her age, all she will say is that she doesn't have birthdays, she has anniversaries of her 12th birthday, and she's eternally 12.
There's a conspiracy theory about your husband. And I feel like I actually just need to bring up the picture that he might be William Shakespeare reincarnated. Well, because look.
It's kind of nuts, right?
I thought it was. I mean, it took seeing the photo for me to go, oh, I should take this seriously. I did a little digging.
What'd you learn?
So, Anne Juliet is a play where what if Juliet didn't die with Romeo? And a lot of it is influenced by Shakespeare's wife. And her name is Anne Hathaway.
It's weird, right?
Hot.
We're not commenting on that.
It's like, we're back.
No, it wouldn't. It would be great if it was true, but even if it's not, still kind of great.
I love that your husband
I just love that he's cute. I don't want to go on about it, but yeah.
The last time we talked, the way you talked about him.
I'm blushing.
And you've been together, you just celebrated 11 years?
11 years married, 15 years together.
15 years together.
Paris Hilton is shaking, and I know she's wondering, how did I get in it? Do you guys want me to keep doing these videos on Kanye West? Because this is going to be a every 2 day, like, circus, okay? And he's the clown, the biggest clown, the bozo. Paris Hilton got caught in the middle of Kim and Kanye's drama because Kanye West is now saying that he should have had a baby with Paris Hilton instead of Kim Kardashian. There's a lot to the story. Let's talk about it. Now, there's fed up, but I'm like beyond fed up. I'm a little scared for Kim. So many reports have come out. I've done so many videos. And now on the back end that they are saying that Bianca is divorcing Kanye indefinitely and that she's coming out with a tell-all book, that she's coming out with a lawsuit like Cassie, that she's also teaming up with Kim Kardashian to do all that. Now, I haven't really seen him with her on these rants. It's been him solo dolo. I don't think I've really seen him out with her since he came out in the black KKK hood and he was with DJ Academics. You guys have to tell me if they were together for that, but it's been a mess. And I feel like Kanye is having more than a mental breakdown. I feel like he is losing control over Kim in any of the situations. So he's like, the only way I can control her and control myself, because he feels controlled by Chris and Kim. He's like, they controlled what they wanted the image to be. They wanted to keep me quiet. Now, Tokyo Toni said that she wanted that Chris wanted to help Kanye, not keep him quiet. So I think that he's doing everything. He's completely losing control because he doesn't want somebody to have control over him, right? People are saying it's a manic breakdown. It's a really long manic breakdown. It's taken a while. But he said on camera in this, like, I don't know, intervention, meet up at his trailer, I have no idea, that he was salty, that he had a baby with Kim Kardashian and that he had a baby with the assistant. If you know anything about Kim, she did used to be the assistant for Paris Hilton. When she first got in the industry, she would take all her designer items that her dad bought her and she would resell them on eBay, upping her name, or use them for clients, upping her name as a stylist. You got all these good pieces, you're putting them on other girls in the industry, they're going to the Met, period. And they did develop a friendship through that. Remember, the reason why Kim got in the industry to even meet Brandy to get to Ray J is because she was styling Brandy. So he's calling her the assistant. Now he's trying to play her like she's the help. And the saddest part is Kanye West has not seen Saint West all year. And I know Kim is going to take this footage to court and you won't be seeing your son for the whole 2025 or the rest of the kids while you're at it.
Here's why Lil Uzi Vert was rushed to the hospital. On Monday morning, Lil Uzi Vert was quickly taken to the hospital from his luxury penthouse after experiencing a serious medical incident. According to sources close to the rapper, it all began when he suddenly collapsed in the middle of the living room and foam started coming out of his mouth. His girlfriend immediately called emergency services while security personnel reacted quickly. Witnesses say Lil Uzi was carried out on a stretcher, awake, while bodyguards used black umbrellas to shield him from curious onlookers and the media. He stayed in the hospital for 2 nights and was sent home on Wednesday to recover. The official reason for his hospitalization hasn't been shared yet, but Kanye West mentioned on X that Uzi was hospitalized for severe dehydration. Lil Uzi Vert hasn't talked about the incident yet, but his cousin said he's in very good condition and everything will be okay. Fans worldwide are sending support to one of today's top rappers as the internet buzzes with theories and concern.
You gonna hate me for this one. Oh. Jay-Z, Pharrell, Diddy.
Damn, Usher!
Club Shay Shay's podcast is turning into this go-to spot for artists spilling the tea, and Usher just spilled a whole pot. He dished on the supposed shady stuff about Jay-Z and Diddy, spilling the survival secrets. But hold up, he didn't stop there. Apparently, there's an even bigger mystery than Jay-Z and Diddy, and he's pointing fingers at none other than Queen Bey herself, Beyonce. Yeah, Usher went there, talking about some next-level enigma with Mrs. Carter.
A bit of a reckless thing for me because I think some of the actions that I had taken, some of the decisions that I had made began to sabotage me. And it may have been personal sabotage because I just wanted some idea.
This week, Usher spilled some behind-the-scenes beans on Club Shay Shay, the podcast hosted by the former football champ Shannon Sharpe. Sharpe went in with the tough questions, asking Usher if he ever passed up on a collaboration and later regretted it. Usher's response? Hold on to your hat. You gonna hate me for this one, he said. Jay-Z, Pharrell, Diddy, and me were supposed to be a group. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't say no. I didn't say yeah. I think that we just got caught up. We all got caught up in the moment. We were talking about it and having secret meetings about it. Usher went on to share more on the What Could Have Been saga. We were talking about music and how we were gonna flip it and the business side of things. Somehow we just got distracted and it never happened. That's one that I actually wish would have happened. While Usher has collaborated individually with Diddy, Jay-Z, and Pharrell, the epic foursome never joined forces to drop a track together. Back in 2002, Usher teamed up with Diddy on the chart-topping Billboard single I Need a Girl Part 1. The collaboration continued as Usher joined the Bad Boy Records founder on Better on the Other Side, a heartfelt tribute to the late Michael Jackson. Fast forward a few years, and Usher found himself in the studio with both Jay-Z and Beyonce for his 4th studio album, Here I Stand. Jay-Z dropped a verse on Best Thing, while Beyonce lent her vocals to the remix of Love in This Club. And let's not forget Usher's 2012 Lookin' For Myself album, where Pharrell jumped on the track Twisted. Absolutely, Pharrell and Jay-Z have both dipped their toes into the supergroup scene. Pharrell joined forces with Lupe Fiasco and Kanye West to create Child Rebel Soldier back in the 2000s. Meanwhile, Jay-Z had his stint in the New York-based Collective Murder Inc., alongside J. Rule and DMX. However, maybe that's when Usher was exposed to the real face of Beyonce. Usher shared a charming anecdote about meeting Beyonce back in the day when she was part of the girl group, The Dolls. Managed by Daryl Simmons, a producer and songwriter who collaborated with Usher, The Dolls visited Atlanta for the first time. Usher, being the responsible teenager, was asked to look after them. I think I looked over them while they were doing something in the house. I had to watch over because I was like the authority because I guess I was the teenager at the time, Usher explained. He clarified that he wasn't a nanny or a manny, but more of a chaperone, ensuring they stayed out of trouble. Reflecting on those early days, Usher admitted he didn't foresee Beyonce's global stardom, but he noticed her unique talent and brightness. He expressed genuine excitement for her incredible success, describing it as really great for my sister, to see that she's done so amazing and continue to thrive and just get bigger and better. Usher and Beyoncé's bond extends beyond mere professional collaboration. It's a testament to a genuine friendship cultivated over the years. Their history is peppered with joint projects and mutual support, showcasing a camaraderie that goes beyond the spotlight. In 2003, Usher took the lead in Beyoncé's Naughty Girl music video, revealing not just their professional chemistry, but also their impressive dancing skills. The duo continued to captivate audiences in 2008 when they delivered a powerhouse duet of Love in This Club Part 2 at the BET Awards, leaving the crowd in awe of their vocal prowess and stage charisma. Usher hasn't shied away from expressing his admiration for Beyoncé, acknowledging her profound impact on the music industry, cultural landscape, and her philanthropic endeavors. Beyond the glitz and glamour, he sees her as a dedicated mother of 3. Usher's repeated affirmations of their bond, labeling her as his sister.
Mr. Blind piano player Stevie Wonder is lying about being blind and can see just fine. Music legend Stevie Wonder has been blind since he was a baby, but there's a big conspiracy theory that he's not because he does things like perfectly catch falling microphones right into his hand, frequently sit courtside at NBA basketball games, and take very accurate photos of people, point the camera right at them when his very famous friends in the industry even stay exposing him. Maybe he thinks being a blind piano player is a cool brand.
I've been spending my whole life with him thinking he can see. I know he can see.
What's the most surprising thing about Stevie Wonder that public doesn't know?
They can really see.
But y'all don't know Stevie can see. Stevie can see. It's just an act. Stevie walks on stage, walks to me, looks me dead in my eye and says, Anthony, get me to a piano. I was like, Stevie, well, hell, if you just walked to me, you could have walked to the piano. He caught himself and had to play it off.
Door opens, it's Stevie Wonder.
And then walks to an elevator.
Says, what's up, Shaq? Presses the button.
I'm gonna tell you what Stevie Wonder has to say about these rumors, but before I do, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theory about each of these celebrities and request you want to see next. When TMZ point blank asked him if the conspiracy theory about him being able to see is true, all he said was, it could be. What?
2 things. Either he's partially blind and he's just like, he can kind of see, but he just labels himself as blind. Or 2, he's just faking it and he's not blind at all.
Evidence affect you. Ron Goldman's blood and Simpson's Bronco, Simpson's blood in so many places.
Barbara, that was the most devastating part of the whole trial for me. I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm so conflicted because of that blood evidence. It's very difficult for me.
You had many discussions with A.C. Cowlings about the blood. You and Cowlings, 2 of Simpson's best friends. And he also expressed doubt. Yes?
Yes. If you can imagine 2 men who have known O.J. I, 25 years, and A.C. grew up with him, knows him much better than I. When we would talk about this blood evidence, we would go all over the board. We would go from innocence, he couldn't have done it, and list all the reasons why. Then we would say, well, but how did the blood get here? Maybe he did, and it was so heart-wrenching, Barbara.
To believe that O.J. Simpson is truly innocent, you have to believe that the LAPD conspired to frame him. Do you believe that?
Obviously, I don't believe the entire LAPD conspired. I believe a few individuals did some things that were not normal.
But not a whole conspiracy.
No, it's impossible.
It has been reported that Simpson knew the night before the jury came in with the verdict that he was going to be acquitted. True?
Absolutely false.
So when O.J. Simpson walked into that courtroom, he did not know whether or not he was going to be found guilty.
He had no idea, and neither did I.
What was your reaction to the verdict?
That morning, I got to the court a little early. O.J. was in his cell, and I prayed with him at that time. And I prayed to God, not that this man be set free, but that thy will be done. Only you know, God, what has happened here.
Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of in violation of Penal Code Section 187A.
Mr. Kardashian, do you now doubt O.J. Simpson's innocence?
Barbara, if I were on the jury today on this civil trial, because of the reasonable doubt, I would vote not guilty.
That is not what I asked you. I asked you if you yourself doubt O.J. Simpson's innocence.
I have doubts.
Why?
The blood evidence is the biggest thorn in my side. That causes me the greatest problems. So I struggle with the blood evidence.
What is your relationship today with O.J. Simpson?
The relationship is not the same as it once was, nor will it ever be.
Why not?
Because I have doubts.
You will testify at Simpson's civil trial.
If called, I am on the witness list.
Will you say you had doubts?
If called, I'll tell the truth, Barbara.
If you had to do it all over again, would you have stood by your friend?
To endure death threats on my life, to endure death threats on my children's lives, to lose a fiancé, to suffer in my personal business.
Because she was upset about this whole
Because of the trial just took its toll. To have all these things happen to me, I would honestly say no, I would not get involved again.
How do people treat you today?
Not good. People, I guess, think I had something to do with this.
Did Simpson ever say to you, Robert, I appreciate this, I know what you did?
No.
Would O.J. Simpson have done this for you?
No, I don't believe he would, Barbara.
You are a very religious man. Will O.J. Simpson go to heaven?
I'm not God, Barbara.
No, I know O.J. Simpson called you yesterday, and one can guess why, but tell what he said to you in that phone call.
Well, what happened was that we released the transcript, and so he knew in great part what was going to be in the interview, and I made notes of the conversation. He said that there were many inaccuracies in the interview, including the allegation that a number of pictures in the house were changed for the jury, or that the lawyer, Nicole Pulvis, was there just to babysit him. He said there are knowledgeable people willing to refute these allegations, but that he can't because he's not allowed to discuss his case since there's a civil case pending. Simpson also said that Robert Shapiro never talked to him personally about a plea bargain. And as for Robert Kardashian, Mr. Simpson says that he thanked him profusely, many times, including once in front of 100 people, saying that his friend, he could never repay his kindness. He did say, however, that he and Robert Kardashian will remain friends. And here I quote, he said, I understand why he wrote this book. He said no one has written a book yet about the case, and donated the money to charity.
Well, now, is Kris Kardashian going to make money off of this book?
Lauren Schiller told me that he paid Robert Kardashian for the interview, as he paid many others, but I don't think that Robert Kardashian did this to make the money. I think he really was troubled, and I think we'll have to see whether the relationship remains, although that's not our concern.
Very revealing interview.
Dude, OJ 100% did it, and Rob Kardashian, rest in peace, definitely knows that he did it.
Something really weird is going on with celebrities.
So Usher's got some really good songs and hits, but there's something really creepy about this particular video recorded in this year's Met Gala. Check this out.
Usher! Hey.
Watch how weird he is.
I'm doing well, how are you? I'm good, I'm good.
Good to see you, baby.
Please tell me about your look.
Alexander McQueen, it's a one-of-one. Sean McGuire and myself decided to put this amazing thing together. So he's being super nice to this person. He's answering all her questions.
Initially.
Up until now, everything is as it should. But then, this happens. Pay very close attention. A bit exotic, romantic, and but still within the garden theme.
And tell me about the...
It's all a part of it. Just everything. You're looking at this is a true thought, like a cohesive, full thought, you know? So he begins explaining how everything that you're looking at is a cohesive, full thought when she asks him about his grills.
Okay.
It's quite weird. When he's talking about it, I feel as if he's talking about something else and not the grills itself. And then this happens.
And how did you interpret the theme tonight?
Just that. I wanted it to be exotic. There's all different types of gardens. Some of them get a little dark. But you gotta have fun, right? What is going on here? What exactly is he talking about? And if we zoom in this particular moment, you'll notice that we can't see his pupils. It's as if his eyes went full dark. As if he's not even human. Or at least, this is what a lot of people on the internet are saying. Is he maybe using some sort of lens? Or is there something else entirely going on here?
Do you know this woman? Her name is Michelle Lamy,
And if you follow me, you know that I usually don't talk about conspiracies at all, but this one was just way too good, and we have to talk about it. Michelle was born in France, and now she's about 80 years old, and she has lived one hell of a life. She went to school to practice law, and then ended up opening some clubs and restaurants, and then eventually worked her way into the fashion industry, which is where she discovered her now husband, Rick Owens. And if you don't know Rick Owens, he is known as the Dark Lord of the fashion industry. And if you know me personally, then you know that I have an obsession with fashion, which obviously you can't tell by my baggy t-shirt and my Neff beanie from 2012, but it's true. And I have always been a huge fan of Rick Owens because of how dark his work is. But Michelle and Rick have a super interesting marriage, and Michelle actually has been photographed with a handbag of Rick's head, which some of you might think is really weird. But if you know my wife and I, then you know we would probably do that because it's a little disturbing, it's a little dark, I don't know, I think it's super cool. But the thing about Michelle is that she is very notable amongst celebrities. That's obviously a picture of her and A$AP Rocky, but that is not the only celebrity that she is super tight with. Honestly, I could probably take up the entire 10 minutes just talking about the celebrities that she hangs out with. And we're talking big name, A-list celebrities. Kanye, Cardi B, the Kardashians, basically anybody you can think of, including Usher. So if you're following that whole P. Diddy thing, I don't know if that will be relevant and stuff will come out about Michelle, but I guess we will have to wait and see. But the conspiracy that seems to be going around is that Michelle is either some type of high priestess or some type of witch in the Hollywood industry. Michelle's also known for things such as dyeing the tips of her fingers black, her gold-plated teeth, and the line that she draws on her forehead every single day. And Michelle's never really given any type of actual explanation for doing these things. Obviously, the gold-plated teeth is one thing, but the fingertips and the line on her forehead is super interesting, and she basically just said it's to keep her grounded, but people think it could be symbolizing other things. And I guess this whole conspiracy just stems from the fact that every celebrity holds Michelle to such a high regard. And for what? I'm not gonna lie, she seems pretty cool, but she's not Rick Owens. And I feel like they respect her 10 times more than Rick Owens. And it makes sense to be in the fashion industry and be tight with celebrities, but this is a whole different level. There's so many details that I really could make a full-length YouTube video of this, just talking about Michelle. So I won't get into that here and bore you guys. If you're interested, I definitely suggest you go do your own research. But I am so fascinated by Michelle Lamy. And I do want to say, the other person that she seems to be very friendly with is Marina Abramovic. If you're not familiar with Marina Abramovic, this is her. You might know her from some of her performance pieces. She was the lady who did a performance piece where she laid out a table of things, both good things and bad things, and let the audience do whatever they wanted to her with no consequences for a set amount of time. I don't remember how many hours it was, but wow. And that performance piece just fascinates me because that takes a really strong woman to be able to stand there and allow people to do things like that to her and just use that as a social experiment. I always was so fascinated with that. I just thought she was so cool for doing that. But there's a lot of conspiracies surrounding Marina as well. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I was a big Lady Gaga fan, and there's a video on the internet, I don't know if it's still up, of her and Lady Gaga doing the Abramovic method or something like that, and it is just the most interesting and strange video I have ever seen in my life. I'm not dissing it by calling it strange, because it is strange. It's interesting, it's fascinating, I don't understand it, but it's pretty cool. So, I don't know what it's about, but I could probably do another video on Marina as well, so if you guys are interested in that, leave a comment and let me know, because I'm honestly dying to do it. But yeah, so leave a comment and tell me what your theories are on Michelle Lamy. Do you think that she is a high priestess, the way that people make her out to be? Or do you think she's just a super cool person in the fashion industry? I really haven't made up my mind yet, and I just think she seems to be a very cool person with a very interesting taste in style, and I don't know, unless something crazy and sketchy is going on, I kind of want to hang out with her. So drop a comment, let me know. What do you think is going on with Michelle Lamy? Also leave a comment if you want me to do a conspiracy story about Marina Abramovic, because that's another really deep rabbit hole.
Celebrities who changed their looks after becoming the famous Jojo Siwa.
Brussels sprout. This is supposed to be the trick, but it's definitely a treat for me. I like Brussels sprouts.
What? Similar to Miley Cyrus Bangers, Britney Spears' Slave for You. That for me was very important, that I brought back crazy. You know what I mean?
Dove Cameron. Then
There's nothing else like it, and I keep trying to find other ways to put it, but there's really just nothing else like it. It's like this sonic boom, and it's overwhelming and it's heartwarming.
It is so difficult because it's just like they're both full-time commits and they're really incongruous with each other.
Amanda Bynes.
Embarrassing, because like I was in such an awkward stage of my life, and so who wants their awkward stage like broadcast, like, oh, you know?
No.
So I saw a couple of stories online that say I have a new look, and I was never open about this before, but I actually had blepharoplasty surgery on the skin folds in the corners.
All right, it's time. It's time for us to talk about it. I don't even have an intro for these because, damn it, they are bad. These are probably some of the worst blind items, if not the worst blind items I've ever read. So Henry Cavill's blind items, let's talk about it. But before we start, y'all know what I always say, everything I'm about to say is alleged. This is all public information from the internet. You don't have to believe a word that I say because truly, I'm just some bitch on the internet. So Henry's blind items in 2013 start off relatively normal, like talks about his relationship with Kaylee Cuoco being PR because they share the same publicist, blind about him cheating on his ex-girlfriends, things like that. 2015, we start hearing a little bit more about his substance abuse. We start hearing that he was replaced in an upcoming movie Stratton because of the substance use. He would attend press events and then go on what the blind called a hooker binge. And that apparently in the movie Batman vs. Superman, his substance use was affecting his acting so much that they not only had to fill in a bunch of scenes with CGI, but they actually ended up having to cut out some of his scenes and just add more of Ben Affleck's scenes in the movie. A blind in 2015 also tells us about back in 2012 when he first landed the Superman role, that he was talking about it at a private club. He allegedly had his eyes set on a woman that was at the club, and apparently only after they spent a few days hooking up did he tell her that he allegedly has herpes. The blind alleges that the girl flipped, and when she asked him why he didn't tell her earlier, he just shrugged it off and then dropped her and found somebody else to hook up with. And this is also the year where he starts dating Tara King, who was 19 at the time. She was a college student and he was 32. The blind alleges that he brought her to the premiere of Batman vs. Superman, and that apparently because she lives at home, her parents came too. And this is where things start to go downhill very fast. This is the first blind that I could find that we hear about his alleged preference for girls in high school. And this is from 2016. The blind says, this superhero has a thing for dating girls in high school. His publicist will say they're in college if asked, but he likes them in high school. In 2018, I don't know if y'all remember, but he made those comments about the Me Too movement, saying that the Me Too movement made him afraid to go out and date because he didn't want to be labeled as a grapist, which I think speaks for itself. We don't even need to talk about how bad of a statement that is. Anyway, in 2018, we have another blind about his alleged preference for high school girls, saying another 17-year-old for that foreign-born A-list superhero. He has a thing for high school girls. The last one nearly caused his career to come crashing down, but he won't ever change. Another blind for Henry says, with an age of consent of 14, this foreign-born A-list, mostly movie actor, has been more disgusting than usual the past few days while promoting a movie. And that is talking about Henry being in Beijing promoting Mission Impossible, I believe. And the blind that follows that blind says that certain people at the studio know what happened in China, but the numbers are few. It says that the studio wants to leave the door open for a return, and that since it was legal there and there are no witnesses, who would actually say anything. This man was busy in 2018 because we have yet another blind about how he was dating another girl in high school while he was living in Hungary, which the age of consent over there is 14. 2019, he starts working on a movie called Enola Holmes. And we have a blind that says, while he usually goes for older high school teens, he was the one who had final say on casting a way underage foreign-born actress. And that was about Millie Bobby Brown. According to the blind, he wanted to get to know Millie better. Then we have a blind comparing him to Paul Walker. The blind says that Paul was actually the one who had the biggest age gaps between who he would romance and SA, but that Henry instead likes to stay in the 16 to 17 year age range. And that's because allegedly, if he's ever busted, he can say that it was legal in whichever country he was in. The blind also alleges that he doesn't really hide that he dates girls in high school despite being in his mid-30s at the time. The blind alleges that the latest teen he was dating was Freya Allen from The Witcher, that she was allegedly 16 when they began hooking up, but that he would say that it's 17 if asked because 17 was legal at the time in the country that they were in. And there's multiple blinds about them. This is actually a super common theme. There's another blind about how allegedly he likes going on those like free cam sites to talk with people, and that apparently, you know, he's been known to be on there with a couple teens. I'm talking about like Omegle and stuff like that. Then we have another blind about Millie Bobby Brown saying that her people really wanted the world to know about her relationship with Joseph Robinson, who is age appropriate, because it would be a great cover for being with the superhero that was already on everyone's radar. And that superhero is, of course, allegedly Henry. Now, around the time that Freya turned 18, there was a blind that alleged that because she was now turning of age, that he no longer wanted her and instead was pushing for the studio to bring in younger girls to film The Witcher. Then another blind alleges that a barely legal actress was brought in for Henry by his people so that he could hook up with her because they were worried about how young he'd actually go if they didn't bring someone in for him. And of course, this was legal in the country that they were in. In 2020, there were some reports that came out about how Henry had been injured on the set of The Witcher. And a blind alleged at the time that sure, you can call it an injury, but you can also call it laying low after what happened in the trailer with a woman who is about to sue him. 2021, we have a similar blind that says that he and his people are scrambling because they know that there is some career-ending stuff that's about to come out. So they made him go public with another quote-unquote PR relationship. Then in 2022, we have a blind referencing Henry and Jared Leto saying it is kind of crazy that there are two superheroes and a current/former villain in this universe who have now been accused of questionable interactions with underage females. Maybe if R. Kelly gets out of jail, they will hire him too. They being the studio. Another blind in 2022 suggests that his friendship with Millie Bobby Brown is not necessarily called brooming, but that he likes to call himself her acting coach. The blind also suggests that he does not care what people think about him because he knows that he will get roles. Apparently, he had 0 consequences for Tara King. He had 0 consequences for the co-stars Freya and Millie Bobby Brown, and he doesn't care if cast and crew do not like him. He basically continues to be awful. We have another blind about how his people are trying to get ahead of a situation. Apparently, it has to do with another underage teen, even though it was legal in the country that it happened in, but that they believe that they can throw money at the situation and make it go away. And since 2023, I haven't seen any more blinds about Henry, but this one says, the foreign-born A-list actor who has a problem waiting until his date turned 18 hired someone to follow an actress who is barely over the age of 18. Apparently, our actor is super possessive and wants to know what she's doing all of the time. And that is, of course, about Millie Bobby Brown. That's everything I have for y'all on Mr. Superman. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you know about this? Was any of this surprising to you? I know for a fact him and Jared Leto have been sort of speculated to have had these underage relationships for years now. But I think personally it's just really shocking when you go through them like one after the other, after the other, after the other. Ugh, it's disgusting.
You ever been to a P. Diddy party?
Yeah, several, many, honestly.
And so, can you take us through like what goes on, like when you were there?
Money
Right.
and sex.
Were you surprised that there were so many cameras in his houses?
No!
So let me ask you, when you hear that Cassie was told to hire male escorts to come in what they call freakoffs now,
Yeah.
is that something normal that
Yeah.
happens in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Freakoffs.
Hey, everybody know that. I've been saying it.
So why does Puffy, why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup? Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
A post by Kris Jenner in October may have revealed that Kim Kardashian was the mystery buyer of a $5 million Basquiat painting. Just look at Kim's home here. This is the full picture of it. It was bought in 2017 at Christie's, and if you look at who owns Christie's, you'll find it's the same people behind Balenciaga. You're gonna start to see how everything is connected. Christie's sells some very interesting artwork, including stuff by Jake and Dino's Chapman, and here's one of their pieces of artwork, probably one of the only ones that I can even show on here. Kim K was actually also in a bidding war with Tom Brady over a George Condo piece for $2 million. If his name sounds familiar, he's the one who created those private invitations for the A-list only all-white party last year. Now Brady's also a big Basquiat fan. Just look at the background of his home here. I also once noticed an interesting Basquiat painting in Ellen's home. You might remember this video, but she posted this during COVID. And isn't it strange that her shirt matches the painting that I showed you earlier? But as the camera pans over, you can see in the background of her home the Basquiat painting, and this one in particular says evil thoughts, but you'll start to learn she has quite a few of these. This one in particular has interesting letters on it, similar to what you would see in the work of Marina Abramovic. And then Ellen once posted this picture of her cutting her own mother's hair on Instagram, and if you look above this picture, you can see another Basquiat painting, and this one just seems off.
5 celebrities with disgusting habits on set. The last one will shock you. Number 5, Dwayne Johnson. Rumor has it that while filming Red 1, Johnson used water bottles to relieve himself to avoid wasting time on bathroom breaks, then handed the bottles to crew members to dispose of. There was even an incident where fans spotted his filled urine bottles during a gym workout. Number 4, Will Smith. During the filming of Men in Black, Smith allegedly let out a powerful fart so foul that the entire crew fled the set, causing a 3-hour production halt. Number 3, Robert Pattinson. He's admitted to going days without showering or washing his hair. While shooting Twilight, crew members complained that his hair reeked unbearably. Additionally, during the Batman filming, he stole over 150 pairs of socks from the set, despite strict rules against taking anything home. Number 2, Jared Leto. To get into character for Suicide Squad, Leto sent bizarre gifts to co-stars, such as dead rats and used condoms. His erratic behavior led crew members to label him a lunatic. Number 1, Jeremy Jackson. The former Baywatch actor confessed to secretly sneaking into his female co-stars' trailers to sniff their worn swimsuits. This invasive and unsettling behavior was widely criticized as a gross violation of privacy.
If you ever judge a book by its cover, well, please, for the love of God, don't do that with Michael Jackson. See, because of how Michael Jackson spoke and because of his size, people thought he was soft. Michael Jackson wasn't soft. Just ask Tupac. He learned that the hard way. Now, what I'm about to tell you is an industry rumor. But there's a reason why people didn't just dismiss this rumor off the bat. But that'll make more sense as the story goes. Okay, Tupac had a problem. It was a dark and stormy night. Maybe, I wasn't there. And he was walking out of an industry event with his girlfriend, Kidada Jones. Now, as they're walking out, Tupac is cussing her out. Tupac was known to be very passionate. He could get heated. But see, Tupac had a problem. And that problem's name was Michael Jackson. See, there's something I forgot to tell you. Tupac's girlfriend, Kidada Jones, was the daughter of Quincy Jones, a record producer who worked very closely with Michael Jackson. So Michael Jackson saw Kidada as a niece. So Tupac basically cussing out Michael Jackson's niece. Michael Jackson did Tupac? Tupac said, Michael Jackson did Tupac. Hey, yo, Pac! Yeah, Michael Jackson could sound like a grown man when he wants to. His voice is actually pretty deep. Tupac said, ooh, that sounds like a grown man. Oh, it's just Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson said, yes, it's me, Pac. You don't talk to her like that. No, you don't do that. Pac said, man, they grabbed Pac. They said, Pac, chill. That's Jackson. Tupac said, man, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Michael Bublé. He talking crazy. They said, no. We said, that's Jackson. Hands Jackson. He be throwing them things. Yeah, word on the street is Michael Jackson could fight. You gotta understand, Michael Jackson grew up with a hard father and a bunch of brothers. If there was a problem, you get in that boxing ring and you throw hands. Michael Jackson was quick and very coordinated. Y'all seen that boy dance. They said it was the same in the ring. Tupac said, yeah, and I'm Tupac. They said, we know. You can't fight. Yeah, word on the street is Tupac liked to fight, but his hands wasn't all the way there. Kidada said, yeah, that's Uncle Mike, Pac. I wouldn't do it. Pac said, man, didn't I tell you to quiet down? Michael said, oh, so now that you done heard about me, it's all quiet now, huh? Tupac said, who quiet? Jackson goes, you? Ooh, spooked him. Listen to your little friends. But like I said, Tupac be getting it in. Tupac said, hell no. So the two start scrapping. A scuffle ensues. They get separated by both camps. And what do we say about them hands? Apparently, Michael Jackson gave Tupac a two-piece. But they quickly get separated, and that was that. Now, here's where things start to get wicked. Like I told you in the beginning of this video, this whole story is a rumor. But why this rumor wasn't immediately dismissed is because people knew who Michael Jackson and Tupac were as people. Everything I told you in this video. Tupac be cussing people out. Entirely possible. If Michael Jackson catches you being disrespectful to someone, it doesn't even have to be someone he knows. I can guarantee you Michael Jackson is going to step to your face and tell you to watch your mouth. That's who Michael Jackson was as a person. Ask Jay Leno. Michael Jackson said, yeah, Jay Leno was talking crazy about me, so I had to choke him. The interviewer said, you had to what? Michael Jackson said, no, it was all in good fun. But he got the message. But on the flip side, even if things got heated, the two probably wouldn't throw hands. Michael Jackson was just too famous at the time. Nobody would let Tupac get close. Matter of fact, Tupac might say a word or two back, but I don't think he would ever raise a fist to Michael Jackson.
I mean, true, I don't think they would fight specifically, but if they did, that'd be crazy. I wonder if Michael Jackson could fight, because I know he could dance, and with all those static movement, he probably could hit Tupac with some like crazy Spider-Man move. But let me know what y'all think about that, man. I'm telling you, some of these celebrity conspiracies are crazy, mostly the Diddy ones. Dang, dude.